The number of people killed in the communal clashes in Uttar Pradesh's Muzaffarnagar district has gone up to 21. More than 40 people have been injured. 10 army columns of over 800 Jawans have been deployed in Muzaffarnagar. 2 of these columns are deployed in adjoining Shamli. Another column has been requisitioned and deployed in Meerut. 1,000 policemen and 38 companies of paramilitary forces are also on the ground, ensuring that people stay indoors. But there was fresh firing in the morning in the Shahpur police station area, where some people were injured. Over 30 people have been arrested. 12 people were killed as the members of 2 communities clashed at different places in the district yesterday. 8 more have died today, taking the number of people killed to 21. Chief Minister had appealed for calm, but a senior police officer has told NDTV that curfew in the rural areas of Muzaffarnagar district will probably have to remain in place for a week. Srinivasan Jain now joins us live for more on that. Vasu, you just heard from the district magistrate there that the number of people killed has gone up to 21.
That's right, Amitabh. This is extremely worrying that the figure has actually steadily risen. It's almost now double since yesterday. We had 12 casualties reported yesterday and just 8 deaths emerging from this morning. And that's largely, according to Tanima Biswas, who spoke to the official, were reported from the countryside. So where you're seeing us is where we were earlier as well. This is Muzaffarabad town. We're very much in the middle of the town area. But here there is an absolute sense of isolation. The streets are deserted and the pockets of flare-ups here are much more minor compared to what is happening in the rural parts of this district, where clearly the administration is finding it hard to keep a check on communal violence and in fact even deaths. Let me go across now to Tanima to get the latest from that. Tanima, now you spoke to the district magistrate. He's reported 8 deaths. And you're saying that all 8 deaths have been reported from rural Muzaffarnagar.
That's right. That's what the district magistrate has told us, Vasu, that today in itself there were 8 casualties which had been reported from the rural areas of Muzaffarnagar, and that takes the death toll up to 21 now. And it is a very worrying concern for the district officials and also the law and order officials who have in fact been camping over here for the past 24 hours at least. And even as the army is being brought in and deployed, around 10 columns being deployed in and around the Muzaffarnagar area, that has not really stemmed the tide of violence completely. It has been controlled to a large extent. Right. As we have been reporting from the town area, it's much calmer. But these rural areas, some of these areas which are spanned across a radius of 150 kilometers, still reporting stray incidents of violence. And the number is almost, as you were mentioning, has been doubled up now. The number of casualties stands at 21 at the moment.
Absolutely. Right, Tanima Biswas, thanks very much indeed for that. So this is, as I said, going to be a big problem because we actually traveled to Shahpur, which is 20 kilometers outside of Muzaffarnagar, and we actually went to a village of Soron where there was a violent clash this morning itself with both communities claiming that the other side fired on each other, and there have been some serious injuries in that village as well. And here's our report from the village of Soron in Shahpur, just to give you an idea of how deeply polarized the otherwise calm and relatively communal, violence-free countryside around this region has become. We're in Soron village, which is about 25 kilometers outside Muzaffarnagar town. Violence breaking out as recently as this morning, of which evidence can be seen here in the bricks that are strewing these narrow lanes, followed by firing. According to the villagers, one young man took a bullet, condition said to be fairly serious. He's been moved to a nearby hospital. This is the big challenge for security forces, that as they contain the situation in Muzaffarnagar town, the violence has spread outwards to the countryside, impacting communities that live in very, very close proximity to each other. And that is going to be, as I said, the challenge to try and ensure that peace is restored, not just to the town, but the countryside as well. And of course, this is the impact of the 2 successive Mahapanchayats that have been held, one yesterday and one 3 days prior to that, where leaders, political leaders, as well as, of course, the CUP leaders from almost 18 villages in this entire region came together and issued some very, very strong and inflammatory statements about what they believed was essentially the fact that the administration was being unfair to them and was favoring members of the other community, and literally almost a call for violence. And that seems to have penetrated deep into the countryside where, as we just saw, that both these communities live in very, very close proximity to each other. Now, that violence has not spared anybody. There have been women injured and killed, young people, the old, but also some children Tanima Biswas met at the government hospital just here in Muzaffarnagar, who reflect how the violence has not spared even the youngest of the residents of this region.
Heart-rending stories at the government hospital here at Muzaffarnagar, where we have come to see some of the people who have been injured in the clashes which took place in Muzaffarnagar yesterday. And these are two children who have been brought into the hospital from Shahpur area. One is a 7-year-old girl, Mehrana, and the other is a 3-year-old, 1.5-year-old boy, Ayan. It's not exactly clear where their parents are. They were brought in along with this woman who is in a serious condition. What the officials here at the government hospital are telling us is that she has sustained a lot of blunt injuries. Even the children, you can see they have bandaged heads, and they have also sustained a lot of blunt injuries. What the doctors are telling us is that the children are still stable at the moment, but all, of course, have undergone tremendous shock and trauma. We'll just speak to some of the doctors over here to tell us the latest. Sir, your name first?
Dr. B.K. Jain.
Sir, क्या है exactly आपके पास अभी तक डिटेल इनके बारे में?
ये दोनों करीब ये तीनों जो हैं 11:15 के आसपास हम लोग के पास आए थे इंजर्ड हालत में। इनकी जो लेडी हैं वो थोड़ा क्रिटिकल थी, ऑल्टर्ड सेंसोरियम था इनका। बच्चे जो हैं वो ठीक हैं, उनको चोट लगी है लेकिन वो खतरे के बाहर हैं।
और उनकी माँ है, रिलेटिव है कुछ?
जैसा इनके बच्चों से पता चला है कि वो उनकी चाची हैं।
Right, and in this climate of tension, the family members of the IBN7 journalist Rajesh Verma, who was shot and killed here yesterday while he was in fact covering the riots, held his funeral today. And shortly after that, one of his close friends spoke to NDTV to talk about what a passionate and committed journalist Rajesh was.
कल पिछली 27 तारीख से शहर में घटनाएं हो ही रही हैं, तो उसके लिए कल खालेपार में अबूपुरा मोहल्ला जो है वहाँ चक्की है वहाँ पास में, वहाँ कवरेज करने के लिए गया था और उस कवरेज में ही सामने से गोली चली है, उसमें गोली लगने से मौत हो गई। जबकि उसका कहना था कि खबर तो मैं चाहे मेरे लिए बीवी बच्चे या सब बाद में है, सबसे पहले मेरे लिए खबर है। प्रशासन की ही कमियों से आज आग में झुलस रहा है मुजफ्फरनगर।
We are standing at the Meenakshi Chowk in Muzaffarnagar, close to the area where journalist Rajesh Verma was unfortunately killed in the firing that took place. Rajesh Verma had gone on an assignment which was at that site, a few kilometers away from here. And he, unfortunately, it's not exactly clear what was the sequence of events there, but he unfortunately got caught into a cross-firing, and it was at that time that he sustained an injury, and it seems to be a bullet injury, because of which he later succumbed and was declared dead when brought to the hospital. As far as the situation currently is concerned, as we have been reporting, there's a curfew at Muzaffarnagar, both in the town as well as in the rural areas. There are policemen who have been deployed, around 1,000 policemen inside Muzaffarnagar town area, and also paramilitary forces which have been brought in as well. 8 columns of the army brought into Muzaffarnagar, 3 in the town area and around 5 of them in rural areas. What police sources are telling us is that it's mostly in the rural areas which are still tense. The town area is still under control, but we have also got reports of 2 incidents of firing which have taken place this morning, even this morning itself.
Right, well, as the political blame game intensifies in Uttar Pradesh, it's worth noting that the BJP, which has made very strong accusations against the Akhilesh Yadav government for in fact completely being unable to contain the communal violence and in fact perhaps even proxy inciting it. Senior leaders of the BJP also have to be held accountable because a number of them, Hukum Singh, who's the BJP MLA from Kairana, Sangeet Som, another BJP MLA from this region, and Suresh Rana, another BJP MLA, all from this region, were present at the Mahapanchayat yesterday where the administration believes that the climate, the communal climate, was greatly aggravated. And the presence of these politicians, they say they're looking at very closely with the possibility of action as well. But it is also to be noted that across political lines, in fact, there's Kadir Rana, who's the BSP MP here from Muzaffarnagar, as well as the former Congress MP Saidu Zaman from here, have also been booked for violating prohibitory orders on an inflammatory meeting that was held on a Friday, the 30th of August, which also contributed to this communal climate. So politicians across the board have a lot to answer for in fomenting the cauldron or the tinderbox of Muzaffarnagar over the past week. But of course, today all they could do was blame each other for bringing matters to a boil.
कुछ दिन पहले फैजाबाद अयोध्या में भी देखा था, उसी तरीके से कुछ लोग जो अमन चैन नहीं चाहते हैं, सांप्रदायिक शक्तियाँ और जो चुनाव में जिनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं था, वो लोग चाहते हैं इस प्रदेश में दंगा हो, घटनाएं हों।
समाजवादी पार्टी एक सांप्रदायिक सोच की पार्टी है। उसकी जो सरकार उत्तर प्रदेश में चल रही है वो अपने सांप्रदायिक नीतियों को बढ़ावा देने की कर रही है। वो पोलराइजेशन की एक पॉलिटिक्स खेलती है, घिनौनी पॉलिटिक्स खेलती है उत्तर प्रदेश में। और उसी का कारण है कि मुजफ्फरनगर में आज हम लोगों ने इतनी बड़ी हिंसा देखी।
प्रेजेंट कम्युनल disturbances in Muzaffarnagar are a result of the failure of UP government to maintain law and order in UP. They have also failed in trying to keep communal harmony in Uttar Pradesh since the day they have come to power.
The communal forces are raising their head again, and as the election to 2014 gets closer, we may see more of this. The strategy of the BJP has always been to communalize, and therefore we have to keep a watch on these communal elements among the Hindus and the Muslims.
And the Home Minister of India, Mr. Sushil Kumar Shinde, took note of the fact that this Muzaffarnagar incident is just the latest in a series of communal conflagrations that seem to have flared up over the past 6 months or so. And he said that the centre is keeping a very close eye on these worrying occurrences.
Last year से इस साल दंगा फसाद ज़्यादा हो गए। लास्ट ईयर में इसी वक्त 410 हो गए थे, इस वक्त अभी 451 हो गए हैं। उसी की वजह से कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी ने मीटिंग बुलाई थी डीजीपी और चीफ सेक्रेटरीज की। उसमें हमारे होम सेक्रेटरी भी शामिल थे। 7 राज्यों की वो मीटिंग हो गई है और उनको पूरी तरह से अलर्ट किए गया है। उत्तर प्रदेश के चीफ मिनिस्टर से मैं खुद बात किया हूँ कि ये थोड़ा सा अपने को अलर्ट रहना होगा बोल के।
The review that has been carried out comes out with a host of very worrying conclusions. One being the fact that as elections come closer, we are likely to see more communal violence clashes. Two, contrary to trends that we have seen so far, the communal violence now or in this year seems to be coming out or being triggered mainly from the rural areas. Now that's a cause of major concern, not only because rural areas, policing in rural areas lacks, but connectivity is poor, and also what worries the government is they say because of awareness is low in the rural areas, it's easier to incite people. That being one of the critical factors, the critical main worrisome factors coming out. The others that we have been told of is the fact that more and more mushrooming of religious organizations and mainly in the rural and the semi-urban areas. The other is that very minor or minor incidents triggering of major communal violences across the country. These are some of the major concerns that have come up in the review meeting. On its part, the centre has warned the states They have also asked him to rejuvenate the earlier existing mechanism of the peace committees in the block levels and the district levels. But the fact remains that we are likely to see more communal violence as elections draw close.
It is extremely unfortunate that a large number of riots have taken place in Uttar Pradesh and in other parts, in other states of, in other parts of the country. In fact, very recently, the Cabinet Secretary had called for a meeting of all the Chief Secretaries from those states to tell them that these communal disturbances are happening in many states, so strong action should be taken. As far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, the Home Minister, Mr. Sushil Kumar Shinde, has spoken to the Chief Minister himself, assured him of whatever help we can give to stop these riots, to make sure that peace returns to those areas of western Uttar Pradesh. We had already earlier given 28 companies of the CRPF. We have sent 22 more, and we are ready to give any kind of aid and help to make sure that communal harmony returns to these places.
हम कटिबद्ध हैं कि मुजफ्फरनगर में बहुत जल्दी शांति व्यवस्था स्थापित करेंगे और जो भी उपद्रवी तत्व हैं, जो भी इसमें शांति व्यवस्था को तोड़ने की कोशिश करेंगे, उनके विरुद्ध शासन और प्रशासन द्वारा कड़ाई से कार्रवाई की जाएगी।